This is the parliamentary zone in Delhi, the heart of Indian governance. Clean streets, order, clear rules. You won't find rubbish casually lying around. Not because people suddenly become better human beings here, but because power is protected. Boundaries exist. Systems are enforced. Accountability is visible. Now look at Vrindavan, a place people call holy, a place they bow down their heads to, a place they believe Krishna himself still resides with Radha. And yet the discipline disappears. Plastic on sacred streets, food waste next to temples, cows searching for scraps among rubbish. So let's be honest. This is not a lack of knowledge. It's not that Indians don't know how to keep places clean. We clearly do. The real question is this: why do we protect places of power more carefully than places we call sacred? Because where rules exist, behavior changes. And where conscience is meant to exist, we often stop paying attention. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Because what we tolerate in sacred spaces reveals what we truly value. People come to Vrindavan with devotion. They chant loudly. They queue for darshan for hours. They bow their heads. They touch the ground in reverence. And then they throw plastic cups on that same ground. They leave food wrappers outside temples. They walk past rubbish without a second thought. This is not a lack of faith. This is faith without awareness. In Sanatan Dharma, devotion was never meant to be performative. It was never meant to stop at ritual. Bhakti was always behavioral. How you walk, how you eat, how you dispose, how you care. Because devotion is not what you feel in front of a deity. It's how you behave once you turn around and walk away. When chanting becomes loud, but attention becomes absent, something fundamental is lost. Not religion, not belief, responsibility. And without responsibility, even the most sacred spaces slowly lose their sanctity. Not because God leaves, but because awareness does. In Sanatan Dharma, it speaks of shaucha, cleanliness. Not just cleanliness of the body, not just purity of intention, but cleanliness of space, of environment, of the land that we occupy. Cleanliness was never cosmetic, it was spiritual discipline. Today we speak endlessly about inner work, healing trauma, releasing old patterns, meditation, consciousness. All of that matters, of course it does. But let me ask you a simple question. What does inner cleansing mean if the outer world we walk through is treated carelessly? You cannot separate the internal from the external. A mind seeking clarity cannot thrive in chaos it creates. In Dharmic thought, the outer environment was always a reflection of inner order, which means this: if our sacred places are unclean, it is not just a municipal or a government issue. It is a spiritual disconnect. A sacred place does not remain sacred because people believe it is. It remains sacred because people behave as if it is. Now, let's talk about the cows. In Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma, Go Mata is not symbolic. She is sacred for a reason. If you read the Srimad Bhagavat or study Hindu scriptures more deeply, the cow is revered because it is believed that 33 koti forms of divine reside within her. That is 330 million types of gods and goddesses that reside within Gomata. Different aspects of the divine are said to dwell in different parts of the cow's body. Brahma and Vishnu at the root of the horns, Shiva in the center of the head, Parvati along its edge. The sacred rivers Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, symbolized through milk and urine. The goddess Lakshmi is associated with the cow dung. The sun and the moon are reflected in the cow's eyes. Agni and Vayu, fire and the air, present in her shoulders and breath. This is why in Sanatan Dharma, the cow is described as a moving temple, not as poetry, but as a reminder of responsibility. And yet, in pilgrimage towns like Vrindavan, this living temple wanders streets filled with plastic waste. They don't know what they are eating. They eat what they find. Plastic bags, food wrappers, offerings wrapped in plastic, not because they are careless, but because we are. Veterinary reports and animal welfare groups have repeatedly found plastic and waste inside the stomachs of stray cows. This suffering doesn't continue because it is invisible. It continues because it has become normal. We worship the idea of the cow, but we abandon the reality of her. And that contradiction should stop us in our tracks, because you cannot call something sacred and then poison it through neglect. Not knowingly, not unconsciously, not in the name of devotion. And the contradiction doesn't stop with cleanliness. This is another reality in Vrindavan that many people notice, but few are willing to address openly. Vrindavan is described in Sanatan Dharma as a pavitra dham. It's a dham, which means it's a pilgrimage place, a living sacred ecosystem, not symbolic, living. And yet, within and around this sacred space, alcohol shops exist. Meat commerce exists. Now listen carefully. This is not about judging individual lives. It's not about controlling personal choice. It's not about moral superiority. This is about atmosphere. Every sacred tradition understands one thing clearly. Places carry energy. What is consumed, sold, and normalized in a space shapes the consciousness of that space. That is why temples have boundaries. That is why rituals exist. That is why pilgrimage towns were once protected ecosystems. When everything becomes permitted everywhere, reverence slowly dissolves. Not because people become bad, but because nothing feels set apart anymore. This isn't theory. In Sanatan Dharma, sacred geography was intentional. Certain behaviors were kept outside dham areas, not to shame people, but to preserve sanctity. And when those boundaries blur, something subtle but essential is lost. What struck me deeply was hearing respected Katha vachaks recently speak about this in the Sanatan Hindu Ekta Padayatra in November 2025. Not angrily, but painfully. They questioned how a place believed to be the living abode of Radha and Krishna can coexist with alcohol sales and meat trade. Several Katha vachaks have openly said that allowing alcohol and meat shops in Vrindavan goes against the very foundation of the Dham. They've warned that when commerce overrides sanctity, the spiritual vibration of the land is diluted. And an urgent, heartfelt request has been made to the public, residents and visitors of Vrindavan to help eradicate alcohol and meat shops from sacred, holy places. When acharyas and Katha vachaks speak about this, they are not making social commentary. They are pointing to a spiritual truth. Sacredness does not survive on belief alone. It survives on restraint, discipline and care. And without boundaries, even the holiest of places begin to feel ordinary. And once the sacred becomes ordinary, people stop protecting it. I want to pause here for a moment, because when I first saw the reality of Vrindavan, the sheer amount of rubbish lining the streets, it genuinely saddened me. Not in an abstract way, in a very real human way. Seeing cows, animals we call sacred, feeding on plastic and waste, searching for food in what should never have been there. That stayed with me. And then when I learned that alcohol shops operate and meat is sold in a place we describe as one of the holiest spaces in Sanatan Dharma, I was deeply, deeply hurt. Not offended, not angry, hurt. Because something didn't align. There was a gap between what we say Vrindavan is and how we are allowing it to be treated. And when you understand what Vrindavan represents, not just culturally, but spiritually, that gap becomes painful to witness. This isn't about judging people, as I keep saying, it's about grieving the loss of awareness. That's what this whole video is all about, and this is the message that I'm wanting to bring out from this video, because when sacredness is present, care should follow naturally, and when it doesn't, something has gone missing. And I think another reason that I am deeply, deeply touched and hurt by seeing all these visuals that I see, I haven't actually been to Vrindavan myself yet. They say, like any holy, sacred place, it calls you. And it's been calling me for the last 12 months. And fingers crossed, by the grace of Radha and Krishna, I will be blessed to visit Vrindavan very, very soon. But when I look at the videos and the visuals and what I see and what I hear, that this is what's happening there, it deeply, deeply, I think, burns a hole inside my heart, if I'm to be honest, that this is what we're seeing. And as a collective, there's something that we can do about this. And this is what this message in this video is today, that for the people who are watching this video who are living in India and go to visit Vrindavan for darshan, and even if you're going to do your reels and videos, because a lot of people, they don't really even go for darshan, they just go there to get views and reels and videos made, whichever reason you're going there for. Spare a thought about what is happening there. And you know, when you're eating food or getting takeaway, don't just dump your rubbish on the floor, on the ground. Put it in a dustbin. If there isn't dustbins available, put it in your pocket, keep it with you in your bag until you get to a place where you can actually dispose of your own rubbish in a way that's correct and right. So what is the real problem here? Is it lack of education? Partly. Is it lack of infrastructure or waste facilities? Sometimes. Is it laziness, habit, sheer volume of people? Yes, all of that plays a role. But none of it explains the full picture. Because if lack of education were the issue, then places of power would look the same. And they don't, as we've seen in this video. The deeper issue is this: we walk through sacred spaces unconsciously. Eyes open, mind distracted, presence absent. We perform rituals, but we don't stay aware. And unconscious people don't protect what they claim to love. In Sanatan Dharma, awareness was everything. How you walked mattered, how you ate mattered, how you treated the land mattered. Sacred geography was not separate from daily behavior. It was meant to shape it. But somewhere along the way, ritual replaced responsibility, and when that happens, sacred places begin to suffer, not because devotion disappears, but because attention goes. Whilst recording this video, I think there's another consequence we don't talk about enough. When sacred places like these are unclean, they quietly become inaccessible. And what I mean by that is elderly devotees struggle to walk safely. Parents are worrying about where their children step. People move cautiously instead of reverently. And something subtle happens. The focus shifts. Instead of lifting the gaze towards the temples, eyes stay fixed on the ground, watching where not to step. This isn't about aesthetics, it's about dignity. A place meant to offer peace should not create discomfort or fear of illness. Cleanliness isn't a luxury, it's what allows people to be fully present, because devotion requires ease, stillness, safety. And when sacred spaces lose those qualities, people don't stop believing, they simply stop coming. Not loudly, quietly. That is the real loss. And there is one final request I want to make directly and respectfully to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. I want to be clear about this. I fully acknowledge and respect what Modi ji has accomplished while in office, the work done to strengthen India's global standing, its infrastructure, its confidence as a nation. That deserves recognition. India today stands taller and prouder than it did decades ago. And for that, hats off to Modi ji. And precisely because of that leadership, there is still an opportunity and a responsibility to go further, to create deeper awareness among people that India's sacred places are not disposable spaces. Alcohol shops have no place in a dham like Vrindavan. Meat and butcher shops should not operate with holy pilgrimage towns. Not only in Vrindavan, but in any sacred pilgrimage place in India. This is not about controlling lives, it is about protecting heritage. These places are not just locations, they are our roots, our spiritual inheritance, our living history given to us by the gods and held in trust for future generations. Sacred spaces require boundaries, and when those boundaries are respected, reverence returns naturally. This is not a demand, it is a request made with respect for preservation, for dignity, and for the soul of India itself. We don't have a cleanliness problem. We have a respect and responsibility problem.